Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to today's live SEO Q&A session with myself and Mr. Chris Palmer, sponsored by the legend that is Mr. Randy Roday.
Yes.
38 digital market, press releases, great deliverables for clients, great brand awareness, great link equity. What's not to like? So the link is below if you need digital. And Randy's a hell of a nice guy.
Yeah, he is.
That's the thing. It's a hell of a nice guy as well. And yeah, he is here and saying $5 on red, please. Come on, Randy, spend more than that.
I was trying to get him. Trying to get like the cheapest price possible. And Randy said, "What do you think I'm selling here? Hamburgers?" I'm like, "Oh, sorry."
He doesn't realize that Palmer likes the good deals.
The best. I try. I work hard. Yes.
Palmer is as tight as they come.
I want the highest quality product. Randy has a great product, but I do want to get it for under market value, which is very hard to do.
Oh man. But Randy also goes on to add he's a hell of a nice looking guy as well. I'm not going to lie.
Debatable.
Randy, he's a good looking guy for his age. So yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ. Look who's here. I
haven't seen her in a while. Wow. Good.
I heard you both have hemorrhoids, and I even have it in audio.
Yes.
So, Holly, I can't remember who I was telling the story to. It was on a live stream, and I'm like, fucking Holly's fucking around with AI podcasts. And they're like, what is she saying that Holly's the best and you guys are promoting her? I'm like, I don't think so. I think she's saying some weird shit, and there we go. Hemorrhoids. So
thanks.
I dread to even look. I've not even looked. I listened to the voice clips and I'm like, oh shit. But interesting as always from Holly. Doing wonderful things. So yes, and I will see Holly and Randy tomorrow. Should be fun. We also have Chris Alec. Good to see you. Joe is here. Loud Egg. Tommy Finnan. All is good. And Randy, it was a punch below the belt. And I can't even threaten to punch her back because I'm scared of Holly and she beat it out of me. So I could maybe say it today, give her a few threats today, but she'll beat me up tomorrow. So I'll leave it at that. And Chris, Holly will make that intro today too.
Nice. Thank you. That would be amazing. Very helpful.
Thank you, Holly. If I think it's what I think it is.
Yep. That would be awesome.
Yes. But questions, guys, ask any questions you like. Put them in the chat. Let us know what you're struggling with. Nerdy, come on, dude. This is a fucking good tan, right? I've been sunning my things off for a week solid, dude. So this is the best it gets. I go this kind of weird purpley, pinky, fucking weird ass color, man. It's I feel like I should be Italian or something, but it just doesn't work out that way. Everyone's just like, dude, you need sunscreen. Like, what the fuck's going on? So yeah, this shitty white skin can only absorb so much. But hey, it is what it is. Honey is here. I am well. Chris, are you well?
Very well. Doing great.
Very well.
Busy.
And busy.
Yeah. But well.
Busy but well. That's always a good thing. I'm still in Vegas, Holly. I'll leave tomorrow. Flying down there 1 o'clock, or just in fact 2 o'clock tomorrow, but it's only an hour flight. So land in Phoenix about 3, and by the time I get through the airport and shit like that. It'll probably get there for about 4, half 4. So yeah, still hanging out in Vegas. And Craig, is Google's algo really at Area 51? We just never know what's up there, right? I was tempted, Chris. So Area 51's like 80 miles north of where I'm staying.
Right.
I was tempted to go and have a peek, but I don't fancy getting shot.
No. And they have a gate there. You have to try to get in. I was watching videos about that not too long ago. They don't play. You got to have like permission and stuff. Yeah.
I went to try and see Floyd Mayweather yesterday at his boxing gym, but he wasn't there.
Cool.
I went to see where Tupac got shot, the location where he gets shot, and I've seen some stuff, but I ain't gone near that fucking Area 51. Someone suggested it, and I'm like, shit. Like, it'd be cool and make quite fun content, but
would be cool.
With everything that's going on in the world, I don't think they need some guy peeking around up there. So, yeah, no thank you. Yes, 2. I think I landed 3 on the dots on some Sprite or something, Spirit or Sprite aeroplane. I don't know what the fuck that is. I've never heard of it. It looks ropey as fuck. That's all I can say. Hello, Calraj. We're slow off the mark with the questions today, guys.
Yeah, we are.
It always starts that way, and then they pile in. And
yeah, right when it's about time to go, they're like, "Here, I got it." Yeah.
So, guys, pile in with your questions.
Get them in.
And throughout there. But if anyone doesn't know, Holly, Randy, and I are going to SEO spring training. We're going to be in Phoenix from tomorrow right through. Well, I leave on Sunday evening. So if you're around the Phoenix area, we will be around. So come and see us. Randy's buying the beers.
Yep.
Auto GPT, Chaos GPT. Are you playing around with it? Chris, how do you deal? Because I know you're a crazy guy anyway, and you like playing with all sorts of stuff. But with this amount of stuff that's coming out with this GPT stuff, what the fuck are you doing? Are you keeping up, or are you just like, fuck this, I'm going to let it settle? And
for a while there, I was chasing the tools, messing around with tools, like, you know, but I'm pretty happy with the current process. It seems to be the most effective, you know, just utilizing what's currently ranking and kind of training it with the prompts off what's ranking and then adding the entities after. And then also there was that a newer tool. I found one finally that produces mass amounts of content like that. That's pretty good. So I found my winning formula. Money content, got that down. Mass production, got that down. I'm taking it easy now. I'm good.
How are you getting on? I know you were building out a whole network of websites as well. What I know you were looking to get 5,000 or something ridiculous. Where are you at with that?
A great goal to have. Yeah. Currently we have nearing 1,000. Nearing 1,000. Yeah, but that's been taking. There's things that you don't see that come up. You know, one of the big ones was when you start snapping up all those domains. What I quickly realized is when they're expired, because I'm going after expired, a lot of the links drop off. And then two, you don't know what was there before other than way back. Weird stuff starts showing up. More pages start indexing. You're like, what's going on? There's some unforeseen things that put you back. Also, too, like Ahrefs' API is a little hinky. It's taking longer than I thought. That's for sure. Then another piece that I never even dawned on me was when you have a bunch of sites, you know, you're producing your privacy policy, compliancy policy, GDRP, these things, the variance in that, I didn't even think of as a factor. So that was, you know, that's 5 pages from the door that have to be semi-unique. Templatizing that, but making it unique is hard. Another piece is if you're using WordPress and not just static, numerous themes, you know, how hard, you know, you can go in there and find free ones, but how many free ones have a nice demo? And then images. There's so many factors. It's definitely to reach 700. It's taken me September, October, November. 6 months.
It's a ball buster, right? An absolute ball buster.
And then training the people to spin content to be able to put it up for posting, and the process and the tools. That was a whole process. It's took me 6 months to get success on production, management, and the overall production of the posts. Took me 6 months to figure it all out. Yeah, dude.
Oh man.
But I'm slow too. So
I'm sure.
Took my time.
I'm sure that's decent time in reality if we consider everything. So
yep.
And Sprite or Spirit Plain, the drink I absolutely detest. Sprite, just it's kind of bland, tasteless shit. But yeah, Sprite or Spirit the Plain. I don't know, some yellow and black sign.
Oh yeah, Spirit.
By the way, on that so the flight was like $90 to go from Vegas to Phoenix, but they're clever, these motherfuckers, the way they do it. So I got an email today, yeah, book your seat, which was $40, and stick a bag on, which was $73. So rather than this cheap $90 flight, I'm like, fuck, America's good. You can fly a link here for $90. I got fucking nailed with a dodgy marketing tactic. So yeah. Don't forget your bag. They say at the end, just as you're booking your seat, So, yeah.
The bag.
Got him. And Anton, yes, it's a grey sky here. It's slightly overcast today, which is probably a good thing. It's been like 33, 34 the last few days, and it's going to be that again in Arizona. So a day off would be good, but it's still, I can feel it burning me right now. So it is what it is. But we've got some questions. Tonya, in terms of penalty de-indexing risk, if I spread 10,000 GSA links across 1,000 of my pages, will it make a difference comparing to pointing links at 10 of my pages?
Okay. So 10,000 GSA links, this means that you have you haven't limited it. You can limit GSA and end up getting, say I run a list with 1 million, you might be able to get 20 or 30, like these are $50 or $100 links, like something good, like something that looks good at least, right? Gets traffic, it's on a nice page. It's like, it shouldn't be in GSA. So 10,000 pointing directly to your site, I would steer clear of that. What I would look towards as far as keeping pages indexed and not running into issues is creating that next layer, like a tier 1 or a tier 2, tier 1 probably. And then utilizing GSA to help those pages stay indexed and increase their overall equity. Another tactic that can be utilized as far as helping a page stay indexed or get power to it is internal buffers. But when we're talking about GSA, the risk to the reward ratio, you have to be careful. I wouldn't point GSA to an internal buffer, but it is effective. So I hope that answers your question. I'm not sure about the penalty de-indexing risk. If you point GSA at your site under a long enough scope, the probability of you getting a penalty is very, very high. So yeah, not point it at the site, man. Don't point it at the site.
Yeah.
On your mouth.
And Anton, very much so. It's although it's still decent warm. That just that feeling of the sun burning through the clouds and just warming up my back is, you can't beat that feeling. But Honey says, should I use the link shortener 301 behind tier 1 link to use Money Robot to make it more safe for money site? So using a link shortener.
I tested this stuff. If you're going to acquire a domain that's of high value and utilize that as your own shortener, then sure, this is great. But I mean, if you're going to do that multiple times, it becomes very costly. But in order to create a really nice link and be able to point it everywhere and be able to turn it off and turn it on and hide it easily, it's great. But I would look at creating your own 301. There's plugins. It's very easy to do. There's also a tool called short.io. And this also allows geo routing, super cool thing, short IO. Make your own instead of utilizing the services. The services are okay, but I prefer make your own. It's going to be much better in the long run.
You retain that element of control.
Very important.
Which is important. So, yeah, we had that conversation earlier in my mastermind when we were talking about Web 2.0s and stuff as well. And, you know, certain people like Randy and stuff were like, no, I like to create my own and, you know, have that element of control and not, you know, put it in some random tool's fucking hands. So control is important. So
definite. Very.
Holly also says link capsule is good too. You can hot switch nicely. So another nugget there from Holly. So link capsule, check that out. Nerdy, for seasonal niches like AC repair or heater repair, how long before the season do you start boosting the site up? And what annual tasks do you suggest?
Creating so the seasonal, I've seen guys with success build out yearly pages ahead of time, which is quite interesting. Not so much in that particular niche. They have the pages already set up. But as far as when would I start or when would I begin, why would you ever stop? You know, I think you're always planning for the next hit, right? So it's not a start or a stop or plan, or it's what can you do consistently and persistently that fits in your budget and your time. That's what I would be concerning myself with.
You want, you know, fresh links, fresh content, fresh everything going on to give those signals to Google. So even though there are shitty periods of time throughout the year, I think I would always be working, because there's always going to be that gap between you and the competition. You know, there's always going to be someone better than you or doing more than you. So I think, you know, the consistency is the key. Whether you know, go more aggressive, you know, a couple of months prior to it or whatever is entirely down to you and your budget. But I certainly wouldn't take my foot off the gas.
Yeah. And to add to that, I noticed like pest control, I've worked with quite a few. They always want, right before it's about to get hot, that's when they want to spend the money. So in knowing this, I would assume that when everyone else is kicking back and eating the fruit that they've earned, this would be the time to really crank it up. You never want to shut it off, but when everything's hot and jumping, when everyone's lax because they're working, that's when you would want to turn it on. Because I noticed guys always come right before it's about to get peak season. So when it's peak season is when you crank it up. I would say, for sure.
Yeah.
Be more aggressive.
I like that way of thinking. And Chris only flies energy drink.
Yes. Yep. I had two today. I had a 20 and a little. I had this one that was this morning, you know, just a little wet the whistle.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Do you think Google determines whether two pages are relevant to each other based on NLP categories or entities graph?
Google determines two pages are relevant to each other. Relevant to each other. So do I think that Google has a content graph like they do a link graph, and then they've picked what the winners are and what a page should look like in order for you to compete? Do I think that they're doing that? Yes. In a way, yes. Kind of, yes. But do I think they're using NLP specifically? Nah. I don't know what they're using. Who knows, man? Yeah, that's hard to say. What do you think about that, Craig?
It's hard to say, you know, what Google are using specifically. You know, sometimes I think we give Google far too much credit in assuming that they pull all this stuff together very well. You know, when you try and test a lot of stuff, you see some gaping holes in the way that Google's put together, and it baffles me, you know, because a lot of things that you would assume Google would piece together, they don't, and stuff that they do piece together, you just wouldn't think of it. So I wouldn't even like to guess, but I would hope that they were doing something along those lines. But whether they do or not, I've given up hope of common sense prevailing, because some of the stuff you've seen it before, just some stuff's fucking beggars belief.
Yes.
Even when it comes to like map listings, I cannot for the life of me believe that such a basic flaw where you could previously put a starting date of a business in the future to switch off someone's GMB, that's fucking beggars belief that there's a gaping fucking hole at that in there. So, that begs the question whether they're all the dots are joined together with Google. So you just see some weird stuff and you're just like, that can't be
There's
real.
no
That
way.
can't
Yeah.
be possible. So yeah, it's, who knows.
Yep. There's definitely, in my opinion, though, a content graph, if that's what you want to call it, or an entity graph. There's some type of association, but how they're doing that, NLP is that? I don't know. Yeah, that's tough to say.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good
But
question.
they are looking at stuff, let's put it that way. So, and pulling it together. But I seen a guy, Corey Hubble, at the Mastermind Mansion last week, and with his he's got an entities tool, which does a lot of that stuff on automation. So interesting stuff, and it's all good stuff. So that's all I'm going to see on that. I don't want to push his tool too hard in case it's not yet ready for public consumption, but entities is the way forward. That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, Anton loves it raining there, and loves the heat. I'm the same. I'm a sun worshipper. Can't get enough of it. TJ, if I have a high ROI affiliate page in a very competitive niche and the page is ranked position 5 to 10, what are the top 3 areas you would audit and check to try and move it to position 1 to 3?
If you just rank position 5 to 10, what are the 3 areas that I would pick? So I have what do you think, Craig?
I mean, at that point, I would, I think getting into positions 1 and 3, see, and you're halfway up page 1, I think that's when CTR and driving traffic to it is going to help shuffle things around a little bit. But could there be better on page? Could there be a few more links involved? Depending where in page 1 you are, I think, a combination of it all. But when I get to the top 5, I think that's definitely where click-through rate and engagement comes into play. And, if they, let's say position 1 is getting 5,000 hits a month, position 2 is getting 3,000, and so on and so forth, and you're getting, 300 hits being in position 5, you're not going to beat these guys, because that guy up the top's getting 10,000 hits a month. And as long as everything else is working together and he's the boundary, people are not bouncing and stuff like that, then I think it's quite hard to shake that off. So I think that's where CTR, you need to try and drive that up a little bit. And I'm not suggesting that you go and only do some hooky bot stuff. Try and funnel people from your social media, your mailing list, paid traffic, and all of that kind of stuff. So when I say CTR, I don't mean just go and fire up one of the tools on it. But I think more traffic at that point is going to be the difference. But again, the minute that traffic stops, would you jump back down? Are you going to need a few more links? Are you going to need a few more tweaks on the page? So you've got to look at it all. But CTR would be my thing at that point.
Probably the magic. Turn the ads on based on the keywords that are already driving that page. 100%. Yeah. Analyze what the top performer is, what he's ranking for the primary, but what other keywords is he getting traffic for? And then mirror that with either paid traffic or however you want. But then I think the basic optimizations that got you to position 5, I would double check that. And usually in high competition, what I've been noticing is they're active. You know, if you're competing for some law or some house term, right? You make a change. I literally run another analyzation, and these guys are making changes like that. It's like, whoa, wait a minute here. So I think the pieces that really, like, what's the internal linking? How many internal links are pointing to the page? How many external links are pointing to the page? How many of them are exacts? How many of them are do follow? Internal linking, how many pages do I have talking about a specific topic that are pointing to the page that I'm trying to rank, as opposed to the main competition? Yeah, how long has that page been there at the top? Page age is massively impactful. But I think the internal links, the page links, I'd also start looking at LSI and the entities. What's the density and diversity of the entity and LSI count? Start analyzing that, because that's usually where it's won. It's going to be something very small. I would invest the $250 into Ted Kabitis' tool to really get a good analyzation. This will give you a very good look at what the pieces that you're missing. It's really good to run that report.
Quora.
Yeah, Quora.
For anyone who doesn't know what that is.
Yeah, when I get super stuck, I buy a report. So
you just pay someone to do the report.
I pay somebody. Yeah, it's usually $5 to $10. I'll just get a report. You know, if it's something really tough and I just need that detail of information, I'll pay the fee. It's worth it to me. Yeah, I think that's where it's at, man. Traffic, check the entities, the LSIs, diversity and density, internal linking. What's the overall, like, how much of an authority are you on that subject? How many pieces of content are targeting that and pointing to that page? Now I'd start looking at anchor text. What's the referring domain count? What's the A tags that are pointing into my site? Yeah, man, that's what I'd be doing.
I've got a question for you, though. Obviously, you mentioned something there in terms of page age. Yes. How many times have you had a conversation with someone where they've went, I can't understand how this motherfucker's beating me in position 1? How big a factor do you think the page age thing is? Because we've all been there. If someone's just like, this website's a piece of shit, look at the state of that content and everything else. So is page age
huge? Massive.
I've seen it so many times, and people are like, I just can't believe it. And even me looking at it, you're like, yeah, this is a piece of shit. You know, there's no subheaders on there. There's fuck all. You know, it's not particularly well optimized. It doesn't have a huge amount of links.
Huge. Yeah. A trusted page that's at the top in the top 3 that's been there, very hard to knock off. I've run across that. Yeah. Every day.
And people get frustrated. That's where they're like, I can't believe this joke website. You know, I've spent 20 grand on a new website and all this CRO and all the fucking bells and all the whistles, and this other piece of shit still going for it. So
once a week, man, someone like, how is this Chris? Like, that's Chris, how are they beaten? And then you're like, well, I've matched and mirrored the on page. I've beat them technically. I've turned on the traffic. We're running ads. We have better links. Like, everything is perfect. And you can't break that. You're like number 7, number 6, number 5. It's like, dude, that happens. I don't want to say a lot, but it frequent. Yes. Painful.
Yeah. So
very painful.
Hopefully that helps you, TJ.
Yeah, man.
Aaron, have I found any cookie shops out there? Not
cookie
yet, good,
shops.
but let's wait to see what happens in Phoenix. I was ill last week, Aaron. I was still struggling with the aftermath of COVID, so didn't give Joe any cookies and things like that. Holly, however, if anyone follows Holly, will have seen that she got a tattoo of a barcode, not a barcode. What do you call these fucking things? The thing you scan. QR code. She got a fucking QR code on her arm, and it apparently links to link capsule, and she will be screwed if they expire. Yeah, you're fucked. That's crazy. I hope link capsule's yours, Holly, rather than doing that for someone else. Fuck's sakes, that's madness. And I hope they paid you a lot. Either way.
Wait, she got a tattoo?
She got a fucking QR code in her arm.
For what? Why?
For fun.
To link capsule to link capsule.
I'm going to try it out though. Let's
Wait, what?
go on her Facebook. She's got a barcode on her arm. She put out a post last week. If I get X amount of shares and all that kind of stuff, I'll get a QR code in my arm. Man, and she's done it. I hope you have done it for real. It looked real to me, but yeah. And it goes to link capsule.
That's not real.
Come on,
it's not.
Is it real, Holly?
It doesn't look like it. No.
Fucking hell. Do you know what? I'm not even going to doubt it because Holly is crazy enough to do that.
It looks fresh, but there's no scabbing. It's not red. And at the top right, when you look down the line, it almost looks like there's a little bit of it doesn't look authentic. If it is, my goodness, that's ballsy.
Oh man, we'll find out.
It's real, she says. All right.
A scrubbing brush to it tomorrow.
She's never lied to me. I believe her. All right.
I wouldn't even doubt it for a second.
Yeah. All right. It's real.
I'll find out. I will inspect that tomorrow and let you guys know. But Smit Patel, is Google against AI content, Chris?
Not openly, but I think there is something in place that I don't know what the threshold is yet. I'm trying to determine that. I don't think they're against it. Definitely not openly, but I do feel that there is something there that's being combated in words that are next to each other that consistently come up. Like it's just AI is going to spit this out. Like these are the most consistent two words that show up next to each other, and that's generally what AI will spit out. I think there's something there in the syntactic analysis that they're running this syntactic analysis, and if it doesn't hit the threshold of enough odd words like a human would use, I do feel as though that's going to be a demotion. I see this consistently. I'm pumping out different AI content without taking the time. I'll put it up, I'll get a bunch of impressions, and it'll fall. I think there's something there, yes. But do I think they're against it? Not openly, no. I think they're all for it. But as far as guarding their product search, there's something in place, yes. Like they don't want to flood. They're just devaluing it. There's something there. And I think it has to do with syntactic analysis is my, well, who am I? That's all I think. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Try it for yourself. Like run it, get your AI content, run it through a scanner, and then go through the most consistent words that show up next to each other. Put a weird word in between them, right? And then, so you post it, it ranks, it does whatever. Do a scan, find the most consistent words that are next to each other, and then put the word like octopus or bacteria or just something that shouldn't belong there to break up the minutia. I bet you it ranks higher. Yes, there's something up there. Yep.
Tonya has a problem with tiered link building. Every time I build tier 1, that is easy to index. It looks so good. I feel like I'm spamming it.
Every time I build a tier 1 that is easy to index, it looks so good. I feel bad spamming it. Well, don't feel bad. You're doing the site owner, I hope, favor, depending on what you're sending.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it's too good, I don't know if I would ever risk, I wouldn't risk it. If Google's valuing it instantly, you don't want to take away from by adding junk. I'm just saying. Now, yeah. So just be mindful and definitely don't feel bad.
Kalraj, where should I hire people to do outreach for backlinks? Any tips? Do you pay someone to do actual outreach, Chris?
Not anymore. I've tried this. The cost of acquisition, time, training, it doesn't make sense on a monetary side unless you would have to allocate a lot of time and resource to really nail it down. That's why there's agencies that do that. I found it much better to hire 2 people for Haro outreach, or have somebody that has that process down where they have a team, and pay the fee. In the long run, it ends up being cheaper, more efficient, faster. The speed and the cost, it's just better just to buy Haro or something that's there as far as outreach is concerned.
Out of curiosity, your Haro person,
Yes.
is one of their names Tory?
No.
Because
Not anymore.
Not anymore, you motherfucker.
No.
You burnt her out, dude. I fucking stupidly shared that with people in my mastermind, and no one could get links from her because she got hijacked by so many fucking people. So
Yeah, no, not her. I passed that on to somebody that would definitely burn her out, and I don't think he found success, or he did actually. But then she jacked the price up, and we found someone new.
So
very effective.
Yeah, no, Andy told me it was him.
Yeah.
The amount of people like, dude, I'm not getting a response from her.
We pummeled her.
And she got fucking never. The advice here is just don't fucking tell anyone your friend or man. Because word gets out, someone's a friend to a friend, and before you know it, you can't even get a fucking deal, and your price is jacked up as well, all for fucking sharing with these people. So
yep,
be careful.
That's what happens. And then we stopped utilizing her particular system, which she was very effective, but the cost became too much for me, at least. Other people, I'm sure.
Chris likes a good deal. But nerdy, Chris, for these sites, do you use cPanel or some other server panel, or just a lot of different hosts and whatever they have?
So I broke it up in a few sets during the testing phase, and I tried a couple things out. One of them, I'll share. One of them was like Easy Blog Network, and that is like cPanel based, but they allocate a fresh IP each time. Fresh install. It's different installs. Then I tried another service called Cloud Pages, which is much like say you're like Cloudflare, where you're almost hiding behind like a CDN or some type of cloud system. I tried those out. And then on the last batch, what we decided to do was we bought a server, and the server runs behind CloudFront and Google. And that's what we utilize.
So I've got a quick question on Easy Blog Networks, because that was one I tried years ago. What I didn't like is the fact that they used to, and this might have changed, they used to like assign me to some random Australian fucking server and shit like that. And I'm like, nah, this is a .co.uk and I want this motherfucker hosted in the UK. What, like, don't put me on this thing. And there wasn't a way to navigate around that. Is that still the same?
I've noticed something similar to that, but then what you'll do is just turn it off and then relaunch, and then it'll give you another one, because it's all like OVH. They only use like top providers name wise.
Yeah.
So if you shut it off and turn it back on, they'll allocate you a new IP, new server. So like sometimes you'll get funky stuff. It'll be US. I've gotten stuff in Canada. I think it was a Sri Lanka or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just turn it off, turn it back on, get a new IP, and move on. Yeah.
Yeah. That was the one reason why I didn't stick around with that, and I just done it the hard way, just lots of different hosts.
Yep.
But if there's a trick round about it, then all good, because the setup and everything was good.
Easy Blog is I think it's a very good service. They're a little bit higher end as opposed to some of the other, website providers. They cost more, but I think it's a very good system, and their customer service is really good. I'm not affiliated, but if they want to write me a check, I could be.
Aaron Semenoff, do you see value in reciprocal linking between YouTube and your site? Example, Make a video about e-com category page with a link to the page. Then embed the video on the page as well. You seen any benefit from that, Chris?
I think it's hard to quantify. However, it's not necessarily the link, it's the co-citation. As that video gets embedded or shared or utilized, it's like having the brand name, the website. Like, I don't think it's the link. I think it's the co-citation of the brand and the elements being associated to your channel that gives you a lift on the overall property. So yeah, I think it's very, very helpful. But I think it has more to do with co-citation.
Yeah.
That's why I would highly recommend putting your name, address, phone number, your details in your videos. Definitely your brand name. Yep, co-citation. Very, very impactful. I could see it too. Like, you can see when I started utilizing that, I can see the difference. So yes.
There you go, Aaron. I would tend to agree with Chris. I don't know about the link value, but here we go. Matthew, if at all, what do you use Holly's news network for the most? Indexing links, articles with backlinks, local SEO map embeds. What's your most used strategy?
Well, I think for me, the most useful strategy is increasing the overall equity of tier 1 or tier 2 links. So that's the primary focus. It's powering up the lower quality links that are already pointing to an asset, ones that we don't control, and being able to get and point 500 or 1,000 links to each of those assets in order to increase the overall value that's pointing at the domain. But yeah, I would be very, very careful with the amount of power. With great power comes great responsibility. So be mindful what you're doing. And yeah, that's what we do.
But I think, Matthew, a lot of people, something you've said there in terms of indexing links, a lot of people, there's a number of different reasons why you would use links, and obviously you can get on Holly's network and there's volume there. Is that going to help with indexation more than anything else? Then the answer is yes. It's putting that stuff out there from an indexing point of view is one way to look at it. But like you say, you could embed your maps on there and get backlinks, grab whatever link equity you can from it. So it's win-win. Why wouldn't you? Holly's went to the absolute pain of building all of those websites, and like Palmer just said, 6 months to build 700 is a pain in the tits to do it. So
Yes.
Why not take advantage of someone who's already done it, and pay your fee? So I think it's a kind of no-brainer, and it's also a great deliverable if you want to deliver stuff to clients as well, so you can share that stuff out as well. So there's a lot of different reasons why you might be able to utilize that. And the main one being most of us SEOs are lazy bastards. So I certainly don't want to make up 5,000 websites or whatever. Holly might be at 10,000 now. I lost count. I know it was always the 5,000 figure that was being bandied around, but I don't know if she ever got further on than that. But I certainly couldn't be doing with that. And Palmer's got to 7,000 in 6 months. So going by those figures, it would take Chris several years.
Yeah.
Several years to get to that. So why do that when you can just go and pay your fee and go on and utilize that network? So I think it's a no-brainer.
I agree.
Holly says the tattoo is real. Don't let them hate. Ask my wife. She's not talking to me. She's so pissed. It rotates to 3 places: her Facebook, her YouTube, and her site store.
Oh, awesome.
Joe says, I hear Craig has a barcode tattoo that scans as Campbell's soup at supermarkets. That was the one insult that people used to always throw at me at school. Campbell's soup.
Oh,
What an insult.
What an insult.
Yeah, you know that way, just a schoolboy behaviour. Campbell's soup. You're like, come on, or Campbell's
Like, okay.
meatballs. Whatever, dude. But yeah, Joe agrees. Easy blog is great. Joe asks, are any of you guys messing around with getting brand to display in Google search while typing specific keywords? Joe, yes. Me and James Dooley done a lot of that testing a few years back, trying to manipulate the Google Suggest. What I would say on that is we tried a lot of different services, a lot of different tools. I think James Dooley actually bought a tool to off a guy that was supposed to do it. Was it hugely effective? It did work in the end, but it took like 9 months of sheer graft to get it to show, and then it just kind of falls away and all that kind of stuff. So it's the amount of time and effort that goes into doing it. Is it really worth it? I'm not so sure. It's certainly not something I'd be encouraging people to go out and try and manipulate. I just think for the reward that you get from it, it's pretty shit, to be honest. But there you go, and it also helps you fuck around. So I don't know if you'll have noticed this, Chris, but remember years ago when me and you used to fight for the keyword CTR manipulation?
Oh yeah.
Now, we were also fucking around with Google Suggest on that point as well. I don't know if you've ever seen the search volume in Ahrefs for CTR manipulation.
Now, yeah.
Is way higher, and it actually was like 120,000 a month at one point, and that is because we were fucking around with the Google Suggest on that particular keyword.
Yes.
And then what I was trying to do is like CTR manipulation, Craig Campbell, and all that kind of stuff, and it actually just inflated the. What it did do though, Chris, is when I was ranking really well for that search term, the traffic value of my website and perceived traffic according to Ahrefs through the fucking roof, which was interesting. But yeah, there was no real value in all honesty. So other than, if I was showing that to someone trying to kid on, I was fucking cool.
Yeah, when we started with that, it used to say like there was zero search traffic. Now it's like 9,900 or something crazy. Yeah. It's crazy.
So,
it's like a $40 keyword now, I think. Stupid.
But yeah, we did mess around with that, Joe. It was fun. And we used to put other things after people's name, like, Craig Campbell is this or James Dooley is that. And we had some fun with it as well. But and yes, Paul, the sunshine is here in Vegas, so trying to get this white ass skin, some color. So yeah, that's always the goal. Any examples of tier 1 you can share for inspiration?
What would be considered a tier 1?
Someone's asking for your guest post list.
Yeah, I mean, there's public lists and private lists. You could feel free to book a time and we could chat about that, Tanya.
Yeah, not sure you want to share too much on YouTube, but feel free to book a call with Chris and he might be able to show you some examples of that. So check him out, chrispalmerseo.com. And I'm sure their consultancy or something similar. Mr. Muzzy is here. Good to see you, Darren. It's great soup. Do you know what? I've actually never tasted it, Joe. I probably should have, but by now. But anyway, did we have the AI talk yet? How are you guys using it in your business other than blog posts and marketing emails? AI talk, are you using it at all yet, Chris?
I'm not. No. Where's that? No.
Teachers, Holly.
Yes.
AI talk, because what I would do, the problem I've got, Holly, is I've tried to use the voice to text translation services so that I could speak out a blog post, because I'd happily churn that stuff out all day. Now with AI, I think I could do a lot more with it, but my accent is a
Chris
massive.
Palmer, SEO.
Oh, sorry.
But my accent is a massive problem in that mix as well. And no, Holly, I'm deadly serious. I'm not using AI or ChatGPT. I mean, I'm using ChatGPT for things, yeah, but I'm not using AI talk.
Nope.
Ah, wait a minute. I think she means, did you already talk about AI on the podcast yet?
Oh, a little tiny bit. I was thinking about testing that, like, 'cause they have those speeches, like you could search doing. I was thinking about testing that out in my group. Like, you know, you could do like a voice search, but what I noticed is the URL is the same. So I was like, is that really going to do anything? I don't know. You know? Yeah. What else is fun with that? Have you done anything cool lately with GPT? Like anything clever?
Nah,
Anything
nothing
super cool?
Nothing that no one else is doing that I can
Yeah.
think of.
The latest cool thing I think was the answering the reviews for Google My Business. That was cool, but that's about it.
Yes, Holly. Yes, I'm using it. I'm using it for tweets and shit like that as well, Holly. So everything other than or anything I can use it for, I'll use it for. So I'll just go in and say, give me 10 inspirational tweets or 10 tweets about making money online, and yeah, it'll churn out some good stuff. So yeah. But back to the questions before I get lost. Mitchell, speaking of Holly's news links, do you ever send a small amount of traffic to the links, or is it just a waste of time?
I tested that too. To the links or through the links? You know, if you were to generate and create hypothetically maybe 1,400 posts, and out of those 1,400 posts, it seems as though that 3 or 4 sites really rank very well. Sending traffic through those links, not necessarily you're sending it to, but more so through. I saw positive results in low competition niches, but I was sending dirty traffic. Just easy to set up an awesome traffic bot. I was using Storm rotating residentials, and I was running it through. It was Epic. I was using Epic with Storm's proxies, and I was running traffic directly through the network to the asset. And we did get a ranking increase. It didn't shoot the number 1, but we did see a definite positive movement without any doubt. So yeah, if you have the time and you have the, but it wasn't like, I think everyone also too looks for that magic. Nothing, just one thing is going to shoot you to number 1. Can you get positive movement? Yes, definitely. How about you, Craig? Did you try that? Even if it wasn't with the news network, have you tried sending it, like say you do a press release or you create an asset that ranks for the primary or a variation and then run traffic through?
Yeah.
You mess around with that?
Yeah, I fuck around with awesome and stuff like that. Do I think traffic to something like that helps? Yeah, I do. I've got a belief that happens, and that traffic has to come from somewhere, because let's be honest, these things don't, whether it's a guest post, whether it's, a niche edit or whatever, these things don't get a huge amount of traffic. So any kind of nudge or any kind of signaling along the way certainly helps, in my opinion. But again, I do things, and it's hard to quantify what does the damage, because that's not the only thing I do. Doing some Web 2.0 blasts, sending some traffic, and things like that are all part of the overall mix for me. It's not something I've actually done any kind of singular testing on. And as I say, I've got my own way of doing things. And I've said many times, 3 of the things that I might do you might argue might not make a fucking blind bit of difference, but I'm still doing them because overall the process that I do works for me. So I believe that traffic to and through help. So that's just my own personal belief. And yes, Joe, the Google suggests. I think you sent that before we spoke about it. Boris, I have 2 years' experience in an SEO agency. I'm now interested in freelancing. Our research says 6 months to rank myself in the niche I want to work in. Can you suggest some lead gen strategies?
In an agency SEO, now I'm interested in freelancing. Research 6 months to rank myself in the niche that you want to work in. Can I suggest lead gen? So it's 2 separate questions. Man, that's such a broad question, my friend, right? I wouldn't always just say it's going to be 6 months. It could be longer. I don't know the niche. I mean, what? That's a big question. What do you think, Craig?
I mean, I think to try and answer it and give you some form of answer, because there's a lot of discrepancies, like Chris says, the niche and all that kind of stuff. We don't know what it is. But in terms of some lead gen strategies, in terms of getting it, why not start with local? Why not start with map listings? It's the easiest, quickest way of generating leads, in my opinion, whilst you're waiting for the organic to kick in. Why? But again, I don't know the niche. I don't know what it is you're trying to achieve. Would you want to utilize some kind of LinkedIn automation to generate leads? Is it GMBs? What's suitable for your business as such is a really difficult question to answer. But for me, off the cuff, I would be starting with maps and local stuff. I just think that's where the quick wins are, and I'd be looking to learn more about that if you don't already, and tap it into that first and foremost.
Yeah. Maps, I don't know about easy, but it is the fastest to generate leads. Yeah, that's a fact.
Easy might be it's becoming more complex. Easy might not be the right word, but if you're listening to the right people and following the right processes, then you can
easily get
around the issues. But it's a big fucking fat pain in the ass right now. So
that's a fact. I like that. Scalability in maps can be very difficult. Getting 10 listings is easy, but when you want to get 50 or 100, it's tough. Plus, they're always getting kicked out. So that's definitely one of the assets. Also, too, if you have the vision already, I would get the work out as fast as possible, especially if it's lead gen and you're hitting different states or cities or towns. Get all of the assets out as fast as possible because you know that it's a waiting game, So I would move as fast as you possibly can. Yeah. And if you can get a scalable system for the maps, that's certainly going to be an asset for you. The other piece is for lead generation. I would start looking for lower cost traffic solutions to get, especially if you're going into specific cities, right? Some cities are harder than others. Like LA is going to be different than, say, Altoona, Pennsylvania, right? For those lower, easier places, they still have, 60,000 people, 100,000 people. That lower cost traffic to the page will assist that page's lift very quickly. Like Reddit, LinkedIn, maybe kind of expensive now. Yeah, man, get the pages up, maps, send traffic. I think that's the best, my friend. Best advice.
Check the Facebook post I've made about you guys using AI. I uploaded it on YouTube too. I'll have a look.
I saw that. Yeah.
I will see you tomorrow, Holly. Be good to catch up. Holly also says send links to links. She's not a believer of sending traffic. So Mitchell gives you food for thought. Unisova, can you recommend any people or courses to learn off-page SEO? That guy's YouTube channel my YouTube channel have a whole bunch of stuff on broken link building, tiered link building, fucking niche edits, whatever. It's all covered. So
Big time.
there's a whole bunch of stuff, not just on our channels. There are many other great content providers out there as well. So
BB had a cool outreach little training I saw out there. BB Raven had a cool outreach one. I thought that little training was cool.
BB's a fun.
That's just something new that I saw recently. I like that.
So there you go. Check out BB as well.
Yeah,
something you can learn if you want to do outreach. Tonya, at any point would you both find useful and comfortable risk-wise to point GSA links at your main website if your website is DR 60, 70, or 80? Nope.
It's risk versus reward. You can't risk it. There's other ways to utilize that tool. You just can't risk it. I know you're not supposed to build any links, but the risk is that link that was acquired utilizing that tool, even if it's of highest quality, there's only one outbound link. There's the content's on point. It's a high authority, right? Link. It's perfect. But in 6 months from now, we don't know how many other people are going to hit that. So it's not worth the risk, man or ma'am. It's not worth the risk. Keep that stuff away from the site. You can utilize it to power up assets or secondary assets that you control. I wouldn't point that stuff in. The hand that you're showing Google has to be clean and pretty. Also competitors. So that's what I would do. Yeah.
I can't. You hit the nail on the head. The hand that you show Google has to be clean.
Yes.
Says it all really. So that would go along with that, Tonya. But on that note, guys, we are out of time. That was a fairly decent amount of questions we got through there.
So
you got value. If you enjoyed this session, please do leave a like or comment. Do check out Mr. Chris Palmer SEO on YouTube and on his website and all that kind of stuff. And do finally check out press releases by 38 Digital Market, Mr. Randy Rodet and his press release service. The link is below. But we will catch you guys at the same time next week for more questions. So speak to you guys then.
All right. See you next week.
Cheers.